Consciousness returned to Dylan not with a gentle nudge, but with a blinding flash and the distinct, regretful taste of battery acid. The pounding in his skull felt like a construction crew breaking ground on a new headache behind his eyes. He pried his eyelids open, expecting the familiar, peeling brick of his cramped Seattle apartment. Instead, he was met with the soft, rhythmic pulsing of bioluminescent lights and a control panel that looked like it had been stolen from the set of a high-budget space opera. Panic, cold and sharp, spiked in his chest. He was lying on a sleek console in what was undeniably a spaceship. "Good morning, my love." The voice was melodic, a purr that vibrated through his bones. Dylan scrambled backward, nearly careening off the panel. Beside him lay a woman, breathtaking, impossible, and an entirely cerulean blue. Her silver hair caught the ambient light, and her smile revealed teeth too perfect for Earth. "Newbie," Dylan stammered, the name surfacing from the murky depths of a memory he didn't know he had. "Don't tell me the quantum quasar cocktails erased everything," she teased, sitting up with a grace that defied gravity. "The intergalactic oasis? Mars Station? Our wedding?" Dylan's jaw went slack. "Mars? Wedding?" "And," Newbie added, placing a cool blue hand on her flat stomach, her silver eyes sparkling, "our child. Zenturian metabolism is fast, darling. We're going to be parents in a matter of days." Before Dylan could process the trifecta of marriage, space travel, and imminent fatherhood, the viewport shutters retracted. The view stole the breath from his lungs. They were drifting above a planet of deep violet oceans, where cities didn't sprawl across the ground but floated in the upper atmosphere, tethered by magnetic fields and bridges of solid light. "Welcome home," Newbie whispered. "Zenturia." The descent was a blur of neon clouds and impossible architecture, but the anxiety knotting Dylan's stomach had nothing to do with altitude. They were docking at the central spire. Newbie had omitted a crucial detail about her family, one that became terrifyingly clear as they entered a penthouse that swirled with a miniature galaxy on the ceiling. Her father wasn't just a traditionalist. He was Zorak, the High Chancellor of Zenturia. Zorak stood like a statue carved from midnight ice, flanked by Lyra, Newbie's mother, who wore a dress of living starlight and a smile that suggested she found Dylan's terror delicious. "You married a human," Zorak intoned, his voice deep enough to rattle the floating furniture. "And you are pregnant." "It's a love match, father," Newbie declared, stepping between Dylan and the towering chancellor. "It is illegal," Zorak countered. "Interspecies unions involving the ruling family are forbidden. The human will be deported, the marriage annulled." "Wait!" Dylan found his voice stepping out from behind his wife. "I may be human, and I may have a hangover that could kill a lesser mammal, but I'm not leaving her. Give me a chance. Let me prove I can offer something to Zenturia." The room went silent. Lyra's eyes danced. Zorak narrowed his gaze, calculating. "1 lunar cycle," Zorak hissed. 2 Earth weeks. "Prove your worth, Earthman, or you will be jettisoned back to your rainy little city." The clock started ticking. The next fortnight was a montage of desperation. Dylan immersed himself in Zenturian culture, struggling to comprehend quantum mechanics that made his earthly coding skills look like cave paintings. He dodged Lyra's uncomfortable flirtations. She seemed to view him as an exotic pet, and spent sleepless nights with Newbie, trying to find an angle, a loophole, anything. 3 days before the deadline, Zorak visited. He found Dylan surrounded by holographic data streams, exhausted. "My father-in-law hated me too, you know," Zorak said quietly, the ice thawing for a fraction of a second. "I was from the lower atmospheric layers. I had to prove that my love for Lyra was stronger than their prejudice. The question is, Dylan of Earth is yours." The deadline arrived early. A summons to the High Council cut their preparations short. Dylan stood in the center of a cavernous chamber, surrounded by the blue-skinned elite of Zenturia. He looked at Newbie, saw the fear and the faith in her silver eyes, and realized he couldn't win this with science. He had to win it with humanity. "Honored Council," Dylan began, his voice shaking before steadying. "I don't bring superior technology. I don't bring ancient wisdom, but I bring perspective." He paced the floor, addressing the room not as judges, but as peers. Zenturia is perfect. You float above the surface, untouched. But perfection stagnates. Earth is messy. We are chaotic, adaptable, and creative because we have to be. My union with Newbie isn't a violation of your purity, it's an evolution. Our child represents a bridge, the stability of Zenturia and the adaptability of Earth. He took Newbie's hand. Love is the only universal constant. It defies gravity, logic, and law. Newbie stepped forward, seamlessly picking up the thread. Genetically, the Council must acknowledge the potential. Hybrid vigor, a fusion of DNA that could unlock abilities we haven't seen in generations. Silence stretched, heavy and suffocating. Zorak stood. The Council has deliberated. He looked down at Dylan, his face unreadable. The arguments regarding genetic diversity and cultural exchange are compelling. The marriage stands. The child will be designated a special ambassador. Relief hit Dylan like a physical blow. He slumped against Newbie as the chamber erupted in murmurs. Later, on the balcony of their apartment, watching the triple moons rise, the adrenaline faded, leaving a nagging question in its wake. Newbie, Dylan asked softly, how did I get to Mars Station? I'm a coder from Seattle. I don't have a passport, let alone a shuttle ticket. Newbie sighed, the sound mingling with the wind. You didn't stumble into that bar, Dylan. You were chosen. Earth has been part of the galactic community for a decade, but it's a secret. The Council identifies humans with exceptional potential in AI and logic. You were recruited for a cultural exchange program. Your memories were suppressed to help you adjust. Dylan stared at her. I wasn't a drunk tourist. I was a recruit. You were meant to be here, she smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. We just accelerated the timeline. 6 months later, the timeline accelerated again. The delivery room in the medical spire was a chaotic symphony of beeping sensors and Newbie threatening to dismantle Dylan molecule by molecule. Then a cry pierced the air, sharp, strong, and undeniably alive. The doctor handed Newbie a bundle. The baby looked up, blinking. Her skin was a soft, shifting lavender, swirling with patterns that moved with her mood. But it was her eyes that silenced the room. Kaleidoscopes of color, shifting from human brown to Zenturian silver and back again. Zorak burst through the doors, flanked by Lyra. The High Chancellor froze. He looked at the child, and the stern mask of the politician crumbled completely. She changes color, Zorak whispered, poking a finger gently against the baby's cheek, watching the lavender ripple into gold. Magnificent. A true ambassador, Lyra cooed, already planning the debut party. Dylan wrapped his arm around Newbie, looking at the impossible, beautiful reality they had created. He was a long way from Seattle, surrounded by blue in-laws, married to a woman from the stars, holding a daughter who contained the universe in her eyes. So, Dylan grinned, kissing Newbie's sweat-dampened forehead. What's the plan for the next adventure? Intergalactic matchmaking service? Newbie laughed, tired and triumphant. Let's survive the diapers first, then the galaxy.